I apologize. I thought I set the rotation horizontal. uh, Rookie mistake, rookie old man mistake. I want to turn this around real quick because I want you to see. I told you I'd have a reveal today, something that's exciting for me anyways. That's going to help me a lot. So let me turn this around. There it is. It got me a cultivator now. So this is just one-handed, so it's going to jump on me a little bit, but and before I go over and sit down and drink my coffee for the live stream, look what's happening. This just started happening. Look at that. I got to come out later and trim some of these leaves around it. But look at the color. The color's changing. Yep. I'm grabbing me some pumpkins. Hey, Teacher Kelly. So let me turn this back around. Boom. Let me just get over here real quick to my seat. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me turn you around again. My bad. This just started because this was not like that yesterday morning. So that is starting to turn. So now I rotate these a little bit. So, yeah. Exciting times here at Okies Eden. Imagine that. Who would have thought a pumpkin turning color can be that exciting? But it is. Okay, everybody, hold on. Sit tight for 1 second. I have, unfortunately, hopefully that gives a better, there it goes. I didn't do the, by mistake, I forgot to do the horizontal. My bad. I am such a rookie. Sorry, my hand's in the way. Anyways, so there's that. There's the garden. I'll kind of try to stay out of the way. But I can see today. So now I can read. Yesterday and the day before I was out in the sun. Today I finally realized, hey, dummy. You can be old and you can be dumb, but you can't be both. What's the old saying? If you're gonna be dumb, you better be tough. But anyways, with that said, now I decided, I got this beautiful cedar tree. And I'm like, why am I not sitting under that with my phone? Because my phone was overheating. And hey, Ramblin' Rose is here. All right, okay, good. So I just wanted to go over a couple things real quick. So that was my new cultivator. If you watched the beginning, if not, go back and watch the beginning. I've needed a cultivator for a while. I borrowed my son's in the spring, and I'm not a big borrower because I'm always afraid I'm gonna break it. And then I have to buy him one, and then I end up buying myself one anyways. So I might as well just bite the bullet and buy it myself. Then if I break it, it's on me. And you know, it's mine, it's my problem. So, and I don't like to borrow people's stuff anyways. It's good in a pinch, but, and we don't mind, we trade off tools all the time, but I just still, for me, I don't like to do that. But anyways, so there's my new cultivator. That's gonna save me hours and hours and hours of time weeding, aerating, cultivating in between rows with the tiller and the little rider I got, the mower now. That saved me a lot of time and back-breaking work. So, real quick, the lineup is starting to materialize. So this, I'm gonna post this hopefully probably Saturday at some point. I'll be away, but I will try to get the post done. So far, it's looking like After Dark 60 is gonna be Monday the 14th, July 14th at 7 p.m. Nicola Recipes, we're trying to hone in for Tuesday the 15th. I'm just waiting to hear back. Hopefully she can do that at some time. Nicola, if you're here, I think you were. If you're here, you know, email me what time you'd like to do. I'll go by your time and figure back, you know, to Central Standard Time. Teacher Kelly tags, we're shooting for hopefully Thursday, July 17th. I emailed her back a time. She's here, and obviously she goes back and forth and she reads and gets back to my emails really quick, so I know I'll hear from her. And then we're shooting for, I gave a message to Misty's Pleasures of Life for Friday, we're working on it. So that would fill the card for next week. And then by next week, by the end of next week, I'll have figured out how to do multiple collaborations one after the other. I think I know how to do that now. So with that said, we're going to hopefully knock that out of the park and be able to do 2 or 3 or 4, up to the point where I want to do a marathon, where it's like a talk show. I can have 5 or 6 people on. We'll do it like I'll start on a Friday afternoon or Thursday afternoon, and we can go right into the evening. I think that would be really cool. It's really I think it helps people's channel growth and gets the word out on their channel and their brand, if you want to call it their brand. Hey Larry P, how you doing? And so now as you see the garden behind me, with the red tub there, that's where I keep my tools, the ones that can stay outside. And you see the one trellis, that's the pumpkin plants that are left, and I just showed you the color on those pumpkins. So those are my early pumpkins. Those were my test pumpkins, because I'm learning. You know, I know how to grow stuff, but pumpkins, you know, every plant is a little bit difference in what soil type they like. You know, those have to be mounded up. Cucumbers should be mounded up. That way, if you do get heavy torrential rains, you know, it gets the moisture to the plant, but then it doesn't drown the plant. And that's important. You know, when you have a long growing plant, that's why I put them up on pallets, the pumpkins, because that pumpkin probably won't be ready for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That'll put us in early August. And, you know, it would be sitting there. That's been, you know, the size of an apple for over a month now, at least. So if that's sitting in the dirt all the time, that's why you'll get those white, you'll have like a perfectly orange one, versus you'll get some that they have the white spots on them because they didn't get turned in the sun. So what I'll do now with those are, that's gonna now get me the chance, I'll just trim a couple of the leaves around the plant, and then I can just easily, carefully rotate the plant in the sun each day, just so it gets even coloring. And then I think I've studied a little bit. I think, you know, once it gets close to harvest time, and if you happen to harvest it early, it'll still, just like a tomato, you can still put it in the sun and it'll still change color for you. So that's what I'm going to be working on. So that's it. And then, like I said, over that way would be my left. I planted the new section of garden, and that's going to be regular beans, pole beans, beets, and radishes. And that's my 4th or 5th radish planting this year. And then as you can see the fence behind me, that's going to be one 55-foot row of pole beans next week. I'm not doing that this week. I'm doing that next week because we're going away tomorrow for a couple days and be back Sunday. So, hey, After Dark. Just mentioning our collaboration on Monday, and I'm going to post the times later. I'm just waiting to hear back from Misty. Nicola is on board. Just got to figure out a time with Nicola, and then I'll post all those times this weekend. But yes, After Darks is already posted. I just mentioned our time slot, so we're ready to rock and roll on Monday. So if you don't follow After Dark 60, please do. She's doing the challenge, but she's also got a really good message about what her channel's about and is leaning towards. I'm not going to give it away. Show up Monday and let's do it. Let's go see what she's all about. I'll have some easy questions prepared for her. She can ask me questions, and then we open it up to the audience. I was thinking this morning, because I composted yesterday, and I wanted to mention this morning, while I'm going on and on and on and droning on and boring everybody, if you have a question about my garden, you know, feel free to ask, or if I've grown this or grown that, or what my opinion is on something, because believe me, I have opinions. I was doing my composting, putting some stuff in the garden, and I had a whole tub full of my coffee grounds. And I was going to bring them out and show it again, and I have a couple videos in there, which I'm going to create a composting playlist. Composting is important. If you do any kind of gardening at all, I don't even care if it's just buckets. I don't care if you have 4 or 5 buckets on your patio. Get an extra bucket and get some potting soil or something from one of the big box stores or a store somewhere. Put a little in the bottom. When you have your eggshells or coffee grounds, dump them in, cover them a little bit, wet it down. And then just keep doing that When you get about a third of the way full, have some kind of a garden tool, spade, fork or something, and just mix it around, wet it down, add some more compost, add some more dirt. Keep doing that till you get about 3-4 inches from the top so it doesn't spill over, and then just set it over in the corner and let that go for the next 6 months. You are going to find out when you start adding that, if you're having trouble growing in pots and you're having trouble growing in bags, that is going to add to your yield. And your peelings and eggshells and coffee grounds or tea bags, they don't go down the garbage disposal at the sink and down into a sewer system. It is free fertilizer. It's stuff you were throwing away anyways, that you were discarding. But that discarding stuff that you're just tossing out, the stuff you're discarding, that's all nutrients for the soil. So just get an extra couple buckets. If you already have bucket growing that you're doing on your porch or something, get a couple extra and compost. Easiest form, and it's better, and it is better than any commercial stuff out there. Joe lost the shoes. Somebody please keep an eye on him because I'm not sure where he's going with that, but I gotta take those off so I can see a little bit better here. Unfortunately, you get to see a little more of my face. I have a face for radio, but so if one of the people with a blue wrench, if they happen to see Jim get a little off topic, then Jim can go to Block Island, as Paula likes to call it. So let me, let's see. Hey JB, how you doing? Ramblin' Roses here, Teacher Kelly's here. Cool. After Dark, cool. Thank you, After Dark. So if you didn't see the beginning, if you weren't here right from the beginning, go back and watch the beginning. I did get a cultivator. We got that yesterday. So I'm excited about that because the garden grew so much this year that I had to do something because the weeding is becoming, more and more of a problem. I gotta put this on. This light is killing my eyes here. I'm not sure if I mentioned this yesterday in a live or not, but if you look directly behind that garden, there's still a bunch of field there. That's mine. And then you took a right that goes all the way around to the other road over here and into the woods. So that's all field I have mowed down for my lawn. Hopefully next week, I'm gonna dig up, because I have extra fencing and I can make some posts. I'm gonna just chop up a 10 by 10, maybe a 10 by 15 section in the back with my tiller. And then all around the inside, I'm gonna plant pole beans. And then on the inside, in the ground part, I'm gonna plant a couple rows of bush beans. And then I'm gonna let them go. I'm not gonna pick any of them for eating. They're gonna go all the way to harvest. Then I will sever all of the stalks, let them dry on the vine. And those are all gonna be for bean soup. And that's what I'm gonna start doing. This grouping here that I just planted, some of those will be eaten like regular beans, but then I'm drying the pods. And then, let's see, Jim H can be take. Thank you very much, After Dark. Still don't understand trolls. I know they're out there. They're everywhere in the world. They're always, chirping and yap, 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 yap. They're like a little, I love terriers because we used to have an Airedale, but you get the little bark, the little yappers that go after your ankles. That's what I equate trolls to. Looking glass. Antenna gardening. Okay. Looking glass. Looking glass. If you don't follow my station, please, or my channel, please subscribe. Give me a chance to go check your channel out. In the meantime, I am going to quick snap that because I will look up. Hopefully you're not a troll. Hopefully you're not messing around. I will definitely check out antenna gardening if it's a real thing. If it's going to be something, weird, then, I hope you're being serious because I'm always looking for new forms of gardening. But we'll see. Hey, Jennifer is here, introvert in Alaska. Just talking, Jennifer, I'm going to be doing my secondary garden over there. It's not going to be for harvesting beans. It's literally going to be to let the pods dry. I'm going to harvest all of those seeds. My son has a, what do you call it, where you can suck all the air out of the bag. He's got a dehydrator, and then he also has the, whatever you call it. We'll call it the airbag sucker outer for technical terms. And then I'm gonna, like in the stores where you get the big bag, it'll look like the big bag, a pound bag of beans. I'm gonna start doing that. Air sealer. So it'll seal all the air out, keep the air out so they don't, go bad. I'll let them dry really good and then take all the air out of the bag. And then I'll have 3 or 4 of those and I can have soup anytime I want. And then if I need seeds, all I have to do is cut that bag open, grab 25, 30 seeds and throw them in the ground. And just think about this. How many bean seeds would I have where I could go trade bean stalks, for, beans and stuff, the seeds for other stuff. I mean, I'd be famous. I could climb up into the sky and see a giant. All right, let's see what we got here. Looking glass, no troll. I used it 2 years ago and was very impressed. All right, looking glass. Like I said, if somebody's here and they want to give information that's non-trollish, I'm all for it. I love it. Thank you very much. I will look that up. The ones that are here now giving me some advice on different forms of gardening. If you are truly into gardening and do stuff, please please subscribe to my channel, and then comment below when this goes public in about an hour and what your channel's about. Put that down in the comments. Give other creators a chance to follow you. And then I'll go check your channel out, and then I'll definitely look up the antenna growing. I know there's a few people on here, I can't remember who it was, but they talk about the grounding growing. So if you have plants and stuff in pots on the porch, you put like a copper rod in and run it down to the ground like you would ground your house. You see the grounding rods on a house, and then they'd send if you got hit by lightning, it would hit the high point, travel into the ground. So they say the grounding planting really works if you're planting inside. I haven't tried that yet, or planting in a pot outside the ground. Well, thank you, many Jim, I think. Well, thank you for the compliment. Thank you for subscribing. But if I were you, I would go get new contacts or have my eyes checked. I'm just kidding. Miss TikTok is here. Hey, how you doing, Miss TikTok? Miss TikTok has a great channel if you want to go follow her. So does anybody have any questions about my garden? Like I said, right now it's about 3,000 square feet. And that's why I got the cultivator. If you haven't seen the cultivator, go to the beginning. It's a battery operated. I have a whole brand of tools for my wood shop. So I have all the drills, the impact drive, the skill saw, chop saw. We have that brand. So we have all of those batteries. So, I can grab a couple battery packs, and if I have a friend down the road that needs help and he doesn't have tools, I can throw batteries, tools in. No more power cords and stuff. And there's not a lot of fall off in power when you go from the newer lithium batteries to like 110 plug, plugging it into your wall. There's not a lot of fall off anymore. And now everybody has, you get these battery kits that have 6 or 10 batteries in them. You just keep that on the wall and you just keep rotating through batteries and you never run out of power. Thank you guys for whoever's. Hey, Jess. I don't know. I'm not even reading what the trolls are saying. I'm trying to watch for the ones that are honestly, carrying on a conversation. Give me 1 second here, people. Some things are so important in life, you just have to take a quick break, but I have to take a drink from my Gone Squatchin' mug. If anybody is doing a live tonight, please let me know. Put it down in the comments below. Most everybody I subscribe to, I have on the automatic, I've rang the bell. Oh yeah, that's great, Miss TikTok, that's awesome. You have your Sasquatch right next to you, you have a cup of coffee. Okay. Yeah, if you have a live later, I've hit the subscribe bell, the notification bell on almost everybody I subscribe to. And it's frustrating because I hit the all, so I'm supposed to get notified every time that somebody sends, maybe it's because I have so many of them, I don't know. But so many of them, the bells rang. But half the time, I don't know if it's a YouTube thing, I'm not getting notifications a lot of times. I even have my other channel, the Okies Hustle. I have that, both of them, subscribe to each other with the bell. And half the time, I don't get notified of those either. You're on your second cup of coffee. All right. Yeah, so after dark's on a second cup of coffee. And yeah, introvert in Alaska, Jennifer doesn't get, it's weird. It must be just a YouTube thing because there, there's a lot of weird things. And I know, I get it. There's millions and millions and millions of people posting content every day. And I'm sure that it's difficult to keep up with everything. But, you would think that they've been doing it for a while now. You would think that it would be a little smoother. But, it is what it is. I'm not a genius in anything, but I'm definitely not a computer genius. I'm just happy there's a platform that we can go to that, it's one of those things we call in the United States, we listen to people, all the time in the United States, it'll be like, oh no, I got to go get my oil changed. I'm so busy this week. I got to get the oil changed. I got to go grocery shopping. Oh, my day's never ending. We call those first world problems. And I guess when I'm griping about YouTube, it's a first world problem. There's people that actually have real problems. And funny, sometimes I catch myself doing that. If I'm complaining, I have to catch myself and say, hey, stupid, that's not a problem. You can easily work through that. Nobody said you go shopping today for groceries, get your oil changed, and mow the lawn all in one day. That was a choice I made. So if anybody should be, griped at, it should be me. It's not the world's fault fighting against me. So that's always just that's food for thought. We all have problems. Everybody faces problems, and everybody can handle problems differently with their mentalities and stuff. But there are a lot of first world problems that we gripe about. And as I'm sitting here now, okay, that's cool. As we're sitting here, I have a honeybee about 5-6 feet away from me, pollinating some stuff over there. So I think that's pretty cool. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. I was yesterday I was in the garden again, weeding over here by the pumpkins. And what I always love about, people could learn a lot from bees and insects and even animals. Honestly, we could. When you think about, say, a dog. We got this rescue dog we have. She just wants to be around us. She just wants to be part of your life. She greets you. She's happy. Just a happy dog. Happy to be alive. Happy to have life. Now, watch these bees. Yesterday I was thinking, because I think a lot in my garden. This is where I do all my waxing philosophical as I'm getting closer to my, my expiration date. That's just a joke. I'm only going on 60. I joke about my expiration date. It's just a joke. But when I'm sitting in there, the bees aren't bothering me. They're not like a wasp or hornet you walk by and all of a sudden they're in attack mode. They have a purpose in life, and their purpose is pollinate, get it back to the hive. Pollinate, get it back to the hive. Take care of the queen. It's all about their life and making sure, basically, their clan, whatever you call the hive, their family, their job, whatever they're doing, they're so focused on that. You can be working in there. They don't come over to bother you. As long as you're not poking around where they're working, you can walk around. They'll fly by you, fly in the flower, pollinate, come back out. They'll fly right by you again. They don't care. Because you know what? They mind their own business. And I think sometimes that's just, if I can be sarcastic for a minute, many times in life, people just need to mind their own business. We can learn a lot from animals and bugs and stuff as they go about their day working. They're focused, so focused on trying to feed their family and getting through life. They're not worried about all the white noise. And that's always important to realize that. Elvis Presley, I'm a big Elvis Presley fan. And so I'm just going to continue waxing philosophical, and you're just going to have to deal with it. I'm just kidding. Elvis Presley did a song. He didn't write it. He did it, and he made it famous, I guess. But it's if you want to look it up sometime, it's kind of a cool song. I've listened to Elvis since I was 9, 10 years old. I got his records. I love his records. But he did this song called "Clean Up Your Own Backyard." Go look that up sometime. Go Elvis Presley, "Clean Up Your Own Backyard" is the song. And it talks about basically mind your own business. It's talking about, you know, people are in everybody else's business, but yet here they're over here having an affair, or they're over here, you know, doing this or doing that, or treating their spouse poorly, or their children poorly, or whatever, or just a really bad person. But they're going around talking about everybody else, but they never look at their own life. And that's a really good song if you ever want to. It's kind of like that Harper Valley PTA song, if you remember that song. I'm sure most everybody here remembers Harper Valley PTA, where they, you know, they were getting on her about the way she was dressing or whatever, but then she gets up and she gives this speech about what everybody else is doing, and here they're one to talk. You know, they're doing worse than what she was doing. And isn't that the way it is a lot of times in life? But let me get off of that topic. I don't even know how I got there, but that's how this whole thing up here works. You know, you get older and your sponge starts to get full. And but anyways, and you know what? That's all for free. That's not going to cost you guys anything. That was basically some almost guru-ish type life stuff. And I didn't charge you $200 or $300 an hour for that, you know, like a professional would. That was all for free from an old Okie that's got one foot in the grave and one on a banana peel. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, people. Freedom at expression. Express yourself. That's right, Natty. Hey, how is, I didn't check. Oh, Natty. Hold on, Natty. Let me get my glass on for a second. It's got a little shine here. Okay, Looking Glass. Kentucky Rain. Yes, Kentucky Rain by Elvis. That was a great song. I like, one of my favorites of his is Such a Night. If you've never heard Such a Night, it's got such a cool beat. But Such a Night is one of my favorites. Yeah, After Dark. Go listen to Harper Valley PTA. It's about a school PTA, Parent-Teacher Association, that is getting after this lady for the way she dresses. Well, she knows all of the town gossip, and she knows there's an affair going on, blah, blah, blah. And so the song is, you basically are looking at me saying the way I dress, but here's what you're doing, here's what you're doing, here's what you're doing. And basically she threw down, you know, the mic, basically. It was a mic drop. I want to ask, where'd she go? Is Natty still here? Natty, I need to know, I didn't look yet. What is my subscriber count? Natty is, she's been sanctioned to, she takes care of my account for me. Oh my goodness, Natty. Hang on to those. Don't just give them away. They could actually be worth something. Or if you want to keep them, I would keep them because I like Elvis records. And I'm rebuilding my collection from my childhood. You'll see in my, all right, 435, woohoo. Guys, 435 subs, it's unheard of. It's unheard of. When you see me, I'm gonna be strutting around my property now knowing I have 435 subs and I'm unstoppable now. I'm on top of the world. I'm gonna be, hey, look it, I'm gonna be getting calls from Netflix and Hulu and all these places because they want a piece of the Eden. That's next. That's next. You're gonna see Okies Eden now on Netflix. Oh, thank you. I'm just kidding. I want to get monetized. I don't pay attention to it because, you know, it's just, to me, it's just background noise. I'll get there when I get there. I'll just keep fighting and working at it and trying to help others get there. Getting closer to 500, yeah. What I wanted to ask you, oh, hey, Life with Misty, how you doing? How's Jay doing with his? Is he, I did do the subscription thing last night. It is, if anybody wants to go help Natty's husband Jay out, it's at Kiddles, Kiddles 2000, the number 2000. So it's at Kiddles 2000, one word, and it should pop up. So I followed him last night. I followed Natty for a while. They do a lot of lives, and she does gaming. They do gaming and stuff too. It's pretty fun to watch. Halfway by August. I could be. Oh, good. Yeah, I saw that. I did see a couple of videos. I'll go back and watch those so they get some. And if anybody does subscribe to them, please go watch Kiddles 2000. Go back and watch some of those videos and interact, like, comment, all that kind of stuff. And then help that. That'll help YouTube push the new stuff when they push that out, when they start pushing out new content. They're real funny to watch. She'll do cooking. They do a bunch of stuff. They go to restaurants and they show what they get at the restaurants and stuff. And Jennifer from Introvert in Alaska, I believe, yeah, it was Jennifer, right, Jennifer? You did that burger place. That looked absolutely delicious. I don't know, you know, just bear with me, guys, a second. I gotta see. If getting out here a little bit, sorry about that. I don't want people to see me. I want them to see my garden. Kind of tipsy there. It looks like I'm drunk. All right, that did not help. Give me 1 second, people. I'll be right back. And stuff, but my screen seems to be dark. I'm plugged in, so I'm charging okay. I'm more in the light here. Walk towards the light, Jason. Walk towards the light. I don't know if that helps or not. I guess I'm in the light more. Yes, so that looked absolutely awesome. Those burgers. He's working on a video. Yeah, playlist. Yep. So yeah, that's the big thing here. That's what I want this whole channel to be, is my gardening, because I love gardening. I'll do dad jokes. And I want it to be a conduit where content creators come here. We can start doing some collaborations, try to get some people. I've been invited to a couple collaborations myself, which I will do because, you know, it'll help support their channel. And then, you know, because, you know, they want Okies eating on there because my celebrity status is just, I'm in the upper stratosphere now. You know, I'm a 430-er. I mean, I'm in the 430 club. And I don't want to sound arrogant or egotistical, but man, I'll tell you what. Anybody that knows me knows I'm just being sarcastic. I'm just being facetious and joking. I'm just joking. I'm just a farmer that knows how to play a little bit on YouTube, and I dig in the dirt all day long, like it's a sandbox, like a kid in a sandbox. Except there's no cat doo-doo in it, because I got it fenced. But beautiful day. I hope everybody's having a great day. Let's see. Still have all my albums. Used to put them on reel to reel and then put them back in their dust cover. Yeah, Looking Glass. That's awesome. Yeah, you know, Natty, I mean, I can't help it, you know. It just comes. That's why I have to wear the hat and the glasses now. I'm going to have to start switching to a cowboy hat and maybe a dusk mask or something, or whatever you call those cowboys put around. Because I go out and they're like, hey, there's Okies, and they run over, and I'm just like, I can't get a minute's peace anymore. It's like, guys, look, I know I'm famous. Yes, I know I'm Okies eating, but you know what? I need my own time too. I need some downtime. Nobody recognizes me. I'm just an old guy that plays in the dirt. But it's a beautiful day here in southern Oklahoma. We were supposed to get, I didn't plan a couple days ago because we were supposed to get, they were talking severe hail, like golf ball, at least size hail, 85-mile-an-hour winds, blah, 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 severe rains. So I didn't plant. I came out and I dug up the ground. I did a video on it, got it prepped. I think it comes out Saturday or Monday or something. And it's going to show me planting and talking about that. And then it ended up not happening. And then now we're not supposed to get rain for the next week or so. So it's, 95. It's going to be 95 or so today. So I watered last night. And then I have my grandson tonight. That's why I'm saying, yep, introverted is. Yeah, that's right. When they recognize you in public. Yeah, because most people, even though you're trying to make a name for yourself and a brand, you still need your own time. I feel bad. I mean, I shouldn't say I feel bad for him, but I know Elvis faced that a lot, where, he was just basically hiding out all the time because he couldn't get a moment's rest. Well, it has its advantages, but it also has some major league disadvantages. But yeah, no, right now it's about 75 and sunny. You can see the sun, it's baking me right now. The other day my phone shut down because I was out here working for a couple hours and had my phone out here, and then when I started doing a live, it shut down on me. So that's why I've been trying to do them in the morning. Plus in the morning, it's cooler, you got the dew, everything looks greener, and the birds, I got all the birds around me singing. And they kind of go away in the summer, the heat of the summer, they go hide out in their trees and stuff. That's nice weather. Bent over the bunker looking through packs of chicken and people just randomly taking a pic of you and asking for an autograph. There you go. So what is everybody else doing today? Anybody else in the garden right now? What's going on in your garden? Are you planting anything new? I know some are in where you're in the zone, whatever zone you're in, for we get one growing or whatever. Are you going to film that? Is that okay? You're going to go. What time are you going live? Because I'll end this then, because I want to go watch that. So introvert, I'm going to be doing some merchandise. I'm trying to lock that down now, because what I want to do is have my merchandise, because I want to be able to do in my community. I've been doing, and I'm going to offer it here too. When I start doing where I do a couple live collaborations, I want to have it ready by then. Okay, I'll go another 15-20 minutes and then I'll hop over to yours. If I can get some merchandise done, I've been giving vegetables away, doing guess your weight and stuff. I put a box of potatoes. I'm going to be doing one of the pumpkins. Whoever guesses the weight exactly or is closest wins it. So I've done that a couple times. And my neighborhood, it's a huge county, and in my little town here, this little area, there's maybe 300, 400 people, and it's over like 20 square miles, so it's nobody. But yes, thanks Natty for showing up. I'll be there in a little while. And if I miss it for any reason, I forget because I'm old, I'll stream it later. Because like I said, over at my son's house tonight when I watch my grandson, I have 2 TVs and my phone. So what I do is I pick 3 different content creators, find their last lives, put it on that playlist, and I run on every TV in my phone while I'm trying to sleep. So I try to help people with time that way. Nicola, hopefully, did you get back to me about the Tuesday time frame? If you send me the email back, what time you want to go, I'll try to set it up around your time, so whatever works for you. But I was giving out the stuff. I want to be able to give a few shirts or hats out or coffee mugs when they win as a prize. So when they win it, then they can have my card with my YouTube channels on it. And that's how I'm going to start getting my word out around here. Allison from Living Life After 55, she lives about an hour from me. So we're going to be doing some stuff down by the Dallas area and up here near the Ardmore, Marietta, Oklahoma type area by the casino. There's a couple coffee shops. We're going to do some lives there. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, just email me later about Tuesday. Pick a time. We'll see if we can work that out for Tuesday for a collaboration if it works for you. And then when I talked about doing collaborations here, when I do once I get it down pat, I know how to do 3 or 4 or 5 in a row. What I'll do is I'll throw a question out, and then, or I'll throw a time out, and then I'll just, at one point, the people that are still on, like after an hour or two or three, if they're watching, I'll pick one of them. Or if they've been there for most of it, I'll pick one of them, and then I'll have them email me their address, which as soon as I use somebody's email and that's done, I delete the email unless I'm still using it to respond. I don't save the emails. It's for collaboration purposes only. And for that, so if they would then send me their address or a PO box, I could send them a mug or a shirt or something. And then I think that would be kind of cool to be able to say, you know, hey, you've been here for 2 hours, you know, you're one of my subscribers, here's a shirt, I'm gonna send you a shirt. That kind of thing. Yeah, Allison's not, so it's funny because I didn't know it either, because my wife and I, there was a charity event for disabled children. It's called Main Gate, and that's down in Prosper, Texas, where I used to live. Well, in Tupp's Brewery in McKinney, Texas is a huge facility, and they got a couple little tiny restaurants, food trucks, and then they have like 20 types of IPA beers, whatever, other drinks and stuff. And I'm down there, and we went down for a couple days to visit some family, and just, we don't really get away that often. We took 2 or 3 days. And I happened to mention it on one of my channels. Challenging to grow here. Yeah, I'm, wow, 7,600 feet, I bet it is. And I happened to mention it, and then she, all of a sudden she says, if you were in McKinney, you should have said something. I wish I knew that. I could have met you over there. And so she's very familiar with McKinney, Texas, Prosper, Texas, Salina, Texas, Denton, Texas, Dallas, Texas. You know, those were some of my stomping grounds when I first moved down here from upstate New York. So I love McKinney, Texas. McKinney, Texas, in my heart, is one of my favorite cities of all time. Jennifer, maybe someday, maybe. She is private, and so that would be up to her. I would hope she would one of these days, because I think once she got into it, I think she'd have some fun with it. But we'll see. There, you know, I have this party at my house on Saturday, next Saturday. I'm gonna do either a brisket or something like that, smoke a brisket or something. And then my son's bringing some stuff, and then one of our other friends are bringing some stuff. And we're just gonna have just a small get together for the summer. And I think my son wouldn't have a problem, and probably his best friend wouldn't have a problem. I'm gonna try to film some of that, because let me tell you what. Oh, hey, FYI 5677. Yeah, you might. I wouldn't, you know, if they don't mind me filming some of the stuff on Saturday to put in a video for the antics around southern Oklahoma. It's a real clown show. I mean, it is a real clown show when we get together, because I always did dad jokes and messed around and used sarcasm and whatever. And my son took that and he went pro with it. So, well, my humor and, you know, my sarcasm and whatever is kind of amateurish. He literally improved upon it, because, you know, the way we talk to each other all the time is pretty funny. You don't have any parties? FYI, if you're a content creator, or even if you're not, subscribe to my channel. Keep up. I do garden stuff. You're gonna see me do gardening stuff. If you missed it, go back to the beginning. Right in the first 30 seconds, I show my new cultivator I got. That was my big surprise reveal that I mentioned yesterday. It's gonna help my back out a lot. Not that I have a bad back, but when you're out in the dirt for 8 hours, your back does tend to bother you a little bit. But I'll see if they want to be on the video. Anybody that knows cornhole, we play cornhole. Oh, thank you very much. That's awesome. I'll check your channel out. Are you a content creator? I'm very proud of my son. I'm proud of both my kids. They've both done well for themselves. They both got married. They both have kids. My son is a paramedic, firefighter, and my daughter-in-law is an EMT. And so they're first responders. And, you know, they do go see a lot of crazy stuff. I was in some of that field for a while, not that. I was on the law enforcement side of it. You get to see some pretty pretty janky stuff or weird stuff going on. But yeah, no, they're great. My kids are great. My grandkids are great. You're a Gen X Texan. Oh, cool. Okay, you know where McKinney, Texas is? I originally lived in upstate New York for 41 years, then moved to McKinney, Texas, and then finally ended up here in Oklahoma. Oh yeah, it does. It does. It really does. Because a lot. You thought that fight or flight. I'll share this. I won't give any information on where it was, but when I first got out of the academy and I was a rookie, my very first call was a girl getting dragged in the house with a gun to her head. And we were a block away, so we were primary. We were the primary call, our primary responder. And they ended up somehow, he got in the house and back out of the house, and then there was a search on. But I'll tell you what, your first couple days, and all of a sudden you get a call. And people always talk about, you'll see, back in the day, I always said, well, did you ever have to pull your weapon, blah, blah, blah. I never thought the life of me, I didn't stay in it that long because I was pushing 50 at that point, believe it or not. When I went into, I was already in law enforcement, like working in the jails and stuff system, the prisons, not prisons, but jail system. And then went into the police side of it. And as I'm standing there with the weapon drawn, as we're getting ready to, broach the door, I'm thinking to myself, I'm 50 years old, I have a wife, kids, and grandchildren, coming on the way. What am I doing here? It ended up turning out okay, so it was a happy ending, everything was fine. But yeah, federal law enforcement, good for him, that's great, yep. So it's just weird. There's so many weird things, but because it's down near the Dallas area. So you start getting into some Chicago, Dallas, New York, LA. You start seeing some really. You can go in, have your cup of coffee, and get a call, and all of a sudden your night goes from, just hopefully a peaceful night to all of a sudden, boom, you're flat out call to call to call. It's crazy stuff. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, that's terrible. That's kind of a I just. Not to be rude, but let's get off that topic, I guess. It is a special field. You have to have the right mentality. But hey, check out my garden. Do you guys know I do gardening here? One of these days, probably next year, we're going to be, when we moved up here, we bought this little place. It was in really rough shape, wasn't well taken care of. And I've refurbished many homes, so we don't care. We bought it because it was cheap. We could pay cash for it, so we don't have a mortgage on it, because I know I can fix it up. I can do the plumbing. I can do all the drywall. I can do the wiring. I can do all that stuff. I can do roofing. So as long as the bones are solid of the house, then boom, we bought it. And I've already refurbished the whole inside mostly. We still want to do some more repainting because I'm not happy with some of the color choices. And then I focused more on the garden this year. But next year we want to do board and batten siding because it's got the vinyl. I hate vinyl siding with a passion. So we're going to do the board and batten, which is basically the vertical siding. Yeah, I am. I'm very proud of my kids and my family and stuff. I really am. Thank you, After Dark. And it's going to get green again because I just planted a bunch of stuff and I'm planting more stuff next week. I said in one of my last videos. I'm not a big pat myself on the back kind of guy. I appreciate that. I like a job well done, but I don't sit there and I believe me, I am so down to earth. If you ever walked into my little world here, you'd be like, who is this clown? But I have a good time. And this is more of a hobby. Well, thank you, I appreciate that. And I was kind of, you have those days where you might it's a bad day so far, you're just a little down. I'm out here working in the garden, pulling up potatoes, and I'm like, now my garden's all brown again. Oh, very nice. Yeah, Colorado, I have not been there. That's on my bucket list. Well, thank you, Jennifer. But yeah, I was picking, well, I wasn't picking the potatoes. You don't pick potatoes, you harvest them and dig them up. You pick apples. I don't know what's in this coffee, but I think somebody spiked my coffee. Anyways, I was digging it up and half my garden's brown again. And you saw some of the videos. And that to me, I remember being up north and working, we had huge gardens because I'm one of 9, so we fed our family by growing our own food. And I've just carried that on through my life. And, you know, I remember when we would dig all the potatoes up and all the beans and strawberries and can and jar and all that stuff, everything. And then you go back out to the fields and it was always not depressing, because I hate to use that word because depression is not funny. Depression's bad. People that are depressed, I feel, you know, my heart goes out to people that have true depression. That's why I even hate to use that word. Sad, I guess. I'd say it's sad when you see the ground turn back to brown. And then up north, you know, that when you first roll that dirt, get all your potatoes and onions or whatever you grew out of the dirt, and it's all brown again. You know, you're in August, September, and you're like, well, that's it. Now, from now until May of next year, it's brown. It's going to have snow. It's going to be mud and dirt and weeds. And it was never exciting. And then it is a relative concept, yes. But as I'm turning the dirt over, as I stood up there and drinking my coffee, thinking for a second, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm replanting in 15 minutes. What am I whining about? In another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's going to be green again. So, yeah, we do. We all have the worst day of our lives. I've had many of those. We've all had many of those. But yeah, now I've planted again, because now being in Oklahoma, the zone I'm in, I've started growing when we had warm weather. I started potatoes last year in February, and they grew, and I was picking those in June. I was having full potatoes. It is a real thing after dark. I know it is. I know people that have it, and it's terrible. To watch them deal with that, and you know, and there's not a lot you can do. You can just try to be there and listen. That's all you can do. There's no, you know, people think you got to go talk to them, and a lot of times they don't want that. They want somebody to listen, or just, you know, just kind of be around, you know. And it affects everybody differently too. But yeah, so now that I thought that, I'm like, okay, stop being a whiner baby about your garden being brown. That's a first world problem. You're still eating food every day, obviously. I mean, look at you. I eat more food than I should. But it's all good food because I eat mostly the vegetables and stuff. But now that my garden's greening up again, I think it's so awesome because, you know, here I can have a green garden from once it pops through the ground in March. I can go all the way to September, October with a green garden. And then you only have those few months in the winter that it's brown. But being that this is a bigger garden now, it requires a lot of maintenance and maintaining it. Like I'm going to add fencing. I'm going to add some fencing border around the bottom for when I do my weed trimming. I'm adding 3 or 4 trellises. I'm going to add gates. I'm going to continue to add grass to the soil so it loosens the soil. So that's going to be a whole winter thing. Hey D Review, how you doing? Honestly, I've never grown sweet potatoes. FYI, I've never grown sweet potatoes. So I'm not sure. I wouldn't be the one to ask that. I'm going to try them next year. And I'm going to try purple fingerlings, I think they're called. I'm going to try purple fingerlings. They're the purple potato. They are really good. Yes, introvert. Yes, I know, Jennifer. Yeah, I can't even imagine. You know, it was a little shock to me coming down here because when I first moved down from New York, I had a small garden in Texas, and our postage, you know, our postage stamp size lot. I had a small garden, and thinking, you know, I'm still in New York. You know, I didn't grow till May, and then yes, I try to be a builder. Yeah, although I do like to destroy things when I'm getting ready to fix the house up. That's the best part, is deconstruction. Let's see, Nicola. Honestly, I'm still playing with the science behind growing in buckets and bags, because I have my russets growing inside, and My yield on the first batch wasn't great. It was okay, it wasn't great. So I'm doing some things differently. So I'm still actually trying to work through that myself to get them to grow better. Outside, all I do is I dig the dirt. Like this was all native soil. I just dug my trench, put my potato in with the sprouts up, and then I just took a handful of compost, dumped it on top, covered it, and then the first time they poked through the ground, I would rehill the dirt over it, and that's all I do. Then I just water it every couple days. I don't use any kind of fertilizers or anything. I just use the water and my compost. If you want, I would check out, if you don't mind using, hey masked melon. I wouldn't add just plain sand, and be careful what sand you're using, because if you go to a big box store, a lot of that is silica sand, and versus like a playground sand. You want more of an organic type sand. Yeah, adding sand to the soil is great because it does help it keep it loose. I wouldn't dump it all on. If it depends on what type of potato did you grow, because you know you have your determinate versus your indeterminate. Your indeterminate, like a russet, they grow up, the tubers grow up. Where if you grew like I think baby reds might be determinate, I'm not sure, but I know Yukon Golds are determinate, so they grow more like a horizontal. So you just dig down 6 inches, lay them in with sprouts up, cover them with a little mound of dirt and leave them alone. Dirt and straw, so on and so forth. If I was growing in a bag, what I might do is, if you don't mind using a fertilizer, find kind of, I think you can get some organic fertilizers. I would just find one that's good for potato. You're doing Yukon Golds, okay. So I wouldn't, once they're poked through, as long as you buried them down 4 or 5 inches or whatever, I wouldn't put too much more dirt on top. You might want to add another inch or two. What I might do is, what you might want to do is, I would maybe add an inch. I would maybe add a little sand or soil over the top of the sprout. This is just taking a guess here, but this is what I would do. So they're covered again, and then add your fertilizer around it just so it's not directly on the plant, and then water it in a little bit. What I have done, and an old farmer told me, and I've done this a little bit with my outside ones, is lemon juice. Believe it or not, I take a liter bottle, I take a 2-liter bottle of some Pepsi or Coke or whatever you drink, and I put a tablespoon of lemon juice or lime juice in the bottom, fill it with water, shake it up good, and then over the next couple of weeks, I do that. I don't put it right on the plant. I lightly sprinkle it around on the dirt, because potatoes, they enjoy a more acidic soil. I think their pH levels, like, they want 6 to 6.5, I believe, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I did all the whole pH stuff, but I'm pretty sure, because every vegetable is different, tomato different, you know, you want to make sure. I don't always check my soil, I just grow. Like, I don't have any luck growing tomatoes because I don't really check my soil. I know my soil is probably acidic because my potatoes are going gangbusters. Cucumbers are doing great, you know. Tomatoes, I'm going to have to research more and maybe do some additive to make that more acceptable for tomatoes to grow, because I don't have any luck growing tomatoes. I never did. Okay, thank you, Jennifer, for being here. I appreciate it. But yeah, put just a little bit. I'm talking a tablespoon for 2 liters. And then just over the next couple of weeks, as you water, just put a little bit on there. That'll help make the soil a little acidic. You don't want to overdo it. Yep, see you later, Jennifer. That was great having you here. Looking glass, yeah. A lot of it, if you're not having luck with something, it's probably something with the soil. Like I said, you know, potatoes, I've never had it, but then again, what I do is, a lot of times when they start to grow, I'll do what I just said. I have a bottle, I call it potato elixir. And I just put, you know, I put some, I pour coffee, I put a cup of coffee, and I said coffee because I'm from New York originally. I take a little coffee, put it in there, tablespoon of lemon juice or lime juice, and then fill it with water. And I drill holes in the top. And then I just walk by the plants and I just kind of drizzle it next to them. Okay, great, cherry tomatoes. Guess what? I've gotten 1 tomato so far. It was a cherry tomato. And I ate it the other day when I was in the garden. I saw it and I'm like, well, the other ones aren't doing anything. So I just grabbed it and ate it. I love cherry tomatoes. Thank you, Mass Melon. Yep, it's coming along. Right behind me, you'll see those are the pumpkin plants that I had to trim out. I pruned. So they're going to get turned in with my tiller. And then next week when I'm back from my little short trip, this 20 by 55 portion section is going to be all replanted. It's going to be beets. I'm going to do more potatoes for the fall. And it's going to be pole beans all down this whole 55-foot run. And then that's going to take me into the fall. Yeah, Nicola, definitely post a picture of that, because tomatoes, I love tomatoes. Tomatoes are like one of the healthiest vegetables. Is it a vegetable or is it a fruit? I think tomatoes are fruit, right? That is one of the healthiest things with all the nutrients in it because of the color and stuff and the acids. And it's also one of the best looking, it's like one of the most beautiful plants you can grow, the cherry tomatoes, in my opinion, because it looks like a mini Christmas tree in July, you know? Yeah, give it a try, Looking Glass. More of a tea. Well, I was upstate New York, so I wasn't like down in Brooklyn. Brooklyn? I don't know how you say it. I'm from the block. No, I'm from upstate. I've lived in McKinney, which was a city. I lived in a small town village of Waterville. And other than that, and Salina was a city, but other than that, I've been in the country my whole life pretty much. For, 40 years of my life, 45 years of my life have been backwoods, hillbilly, just redneck country boy stuff, driving weird old fast cars around the backwoods and, getting in all sorts of trouble. Not bad trouble, just messing around. Just boys being boys, I guess. Yes, grape tomatoes are delicious. I have not heard of honeycomb apples, but if you see, let me see if I can do this. The camera messes me up. Right there and right there. No, is that right? Yeah, boom, boom. Anyways, no, there's one here and one over here. I have Gala and Honeycrisp right now growing. Yeah, I'd like to know that too. So I have these two trees here. I planted this spring. Excuse me. It was a goose. We have a lake over behind me here, so the geese are flying all over all the time. So I planted these two trees, and I got, hopefully in the spring, I'm ordering a couple of, what are they called? They're prevalent up north. We used to eat them all the time. Dang it. We're gonna, because we want those for down here, so I'm gonna grow one or two of those in the spring. And then I'll probably get a crabapple tree for over here for shade and for cross-pollination. I know I've mentioned this on this channel before on my videos when I'm talking about planting the apple trees. You got to make sure you plant a couple different varieties, and you want to make sure they're blooming at the same time. You want to get the same bloom time when they flower for pollination. You'll get a much better yield of apples if you cross-pollinate. Go to an orchard and talk to them, and a lot of times you'll see crabapple trees are highly touted. You'll see crabapple trees around orchards because they are huge for cross-pollination, for producing of apple orchards. And that's why when you go into an apple orchard, you'll see a certain type of apple tree, but then there's like crabapple trees everywhere. Pink apples are currently in my fridge. There you go. Bugs are starting to come out now. That's one thing. in the early morning, you get the gnats and stuff, and some flies. But they're not as bad as it used to be up north. I remember up north, you'd be covered in them when you're trying to do gardening in the spring. But well, everybody, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody had a good time. I'm going to end it here because I do have to get ready. I'm babysitting my grandson overnight, and I go get my stuff ready for the night because then we're taking off. As soon as I'm done there, we're going to take off for our little trip. So I got to go get packed for that, and I want to go visit Natty's channel now because she's live doing some, I think she's doing some muffins or something. So I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you for showing up and watching my channel. Thank you to those that have subscribed and my new subscribers. I will go check your channels out in a few minutes. Before I leave, just a reminder, please go below. This will be public in about 15-20 minutes. Go below and put a comment on what your channel is about, and give other people a chance. Give other people a chance to go visit your channel and possibly follow you and comment and interact with your channel. So with that said, I'm going to call it here. And you guys all have a great day, and I'll probably see you next week sometime when I'm back from my trip. You all have a great weekend if I don't see you before then. Take care, everybody.